Motion is approved. Number 2, the self-administrators report.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So you guys, screens are out there. Usually we're seated that way so you can see, so I apologize if you have to turn around each other. Just want to give you a little update on the local plan. You know that's been one of the biggest issues we're dealing with this year. And many thanks to the program directors that are serving on that committee. And so you see them there, plus you have some gen ed staff, preschool teachers. So I really want to thank you for the time they've dedicated. We've met 3 times, and the next step, Karen and I will be working on their suggested revisions or things they caught, like maybe punctuation or something. We'll be finalizing it. The CDE put some templates up this week, and then discovered they were not expandable either. So we're just waiting for those final templates to be posted. So as you can see, October through December, we've been holding our committee meetings. And then in our governance meetings in January and February, we will bring the plan to you for a first reading, March and April, second reading, and then Superintendent's Council for approval in May. And in June, we will submit it to the CDE, and you can start the process to get it approved by your governing boards. So these are the sections in the new local plan. And what I will be giving you is, you can see our current local plan, but with it kind of color-coded where all the pieces went in the new plan. And then the bottom piece is duplicating how the template is set out, and once the actual template is out there, we can cut and paste the information into it. So the first section will be contacts and certifications. It's just a little bit of data about our SELPA and the forms that the county superintendent signs off, your LEA board sign off on, and the CAC chair signs off. The second part, section B, will be governance and administration, and pretty much I've taken the first 26 pages of our local plan and dumped them into what's called B2. Then they have governance policies and procedures. It's a good thing we went through the exercise a couple of years ago to update all of our policies and procedures, because they're asking for numbers, and ours are all numbered per the Gavin online system. Then administration of regionalized and operational services is new, and SELPA services is new. Then I've been sharing with you the annual assurances support plan is not due till 2021, and there's a possibility it may not happen at all. And then it'll be the annual budget plan, the annual service plan. That process will continue as we've always done it. And then we will have the appendices, because we don't want to lose our appendix with the Weselpa bylaws, the agreement for participation in the West End SELPA, which is our agreement with the county and the districts, and the CAC bylaws, and then we'll have interagency agreements. Those will still be required. As you go back one, Karen, just for a second. So this is what it'll look like. There will be a template, A, B, C, D, and E, and AB 1808 now requires that all of those templates be posted individually on the SELPA website, as well as the district website and the county website. So I had asked, can it be a continuous flow document? And they're saying, no, it has to be all those separate templates posted. And so my plan is to do both, so that it'll be user-friendly. When we post it to the website, you can have one document that you can go through, as well as meeting the requirement. Now we can move forward. So we've been working on some compliance measures, and some of the districts were found to be disproportionate, and so they have all received confirmation of completing the most current review, so that's good news. And then the program indicator review, they've all received notice that the PIR plans they submitted to work on this year have been approved by the CDE. Program transfers, there were none. That's a first. So we have no program transfers, good morning, for you to approve in January. And then upcoming events, the local planning committee will be meeting in December to look at the final version of what we'll bring to you in January. And then in January, the personnel committee will be meeting again, and talking to you a little bit about that. And then we have PAC CAC and SUPS in January. And we wish you all happy holidays. And on Sunday, it was still in the 90s, so I looked for some pictures. It was a little more tropical, so there you go.
Thank you, Susan. Okay. All right, so at this time, we'll open up for public comment. And we will start with Mr. Atwood, and we have one non-agenda item he's going to address, and then 2 agenda items. So then that would be for a total of 9 minutes. Mr. Atwood?
Well, I didn't know I was going to get 9. Well, I guess the one thing I want to mention, I hadn't put it on the card, but it's a non-agenda item. I had an interesting experience with Altaloma. They put on a thing about student suicide and all stuff about parents, parents shouldn't do, should do and everything. And I asked a question there. I said, well, since you play keep away in order to keep kids with learning disabilities from getting help, and you know that increases the risk of suicide, why are you putting a presentation about suicide so you think it's a problem? It's really a problem, then why don't you stop doing what you can to encourage it? At which point Karen Pazant, their board member there, basically tantrumed. It was all recorded. It's sort of an entertaining listen, and somebody has it. And I guess my point is, instead of tantruming at that question, why not just answer it? If you really think that suicide is a problem, then why don't you change your policy of doing everything to avoid taking care of learning disabilities and litigating and everything in order to make it not happen? And if you do want to keep doing that, why don't you stop kidding us that suicide is really a problem in your eyes? I think that's probably pretty reasonable way. And I got a room full of people here. I wonder if anybody sees the sense of what I'm saying. It reminds me of the proverb that says, why is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom when he doesn't want it? It's kind of analogous to that. Why put on presentations and everything about something that you demonstrate by your deeds are not a problem in your eyes? The other thing, I guess, that I wanted to mention was I just wanted to bring up the independent evaluation thing. There's much that could be said, but I won't say it. I'll just say one thing, that in our last ADR that we had, Royal brought up the conflict of interest provision there. Not that, we settled that one later anyway, at least I think. But the problem was that they had a conflict of interest thing. I put in public records act requests to various districts, and I haven't found any of them with a policy or an administrative regulation that says that their assessors are therefore not allowed to provide the therapy because it's a conflict of interest. So your policy is imposing a qualification on independent assessors that you don't apply on your own people. I haven't seen any district that says a speech and language therapist goes and does an assessment that they therefore are not allowed to provide the services. So you can't apply that restriction to people with independent education evaluation. Now somebody or other is going to want to litigate that at some point. It looks like the East San Gabriel Valley Self is going to volunteer. But it seems to me that, at least in the district court, if not at 08, you're going to lose. And why is it so important to try to keep people from getting decent independent evaluations like that? I see that Royal's wearing a pair of glasses. I'm pretty sure that the optometrist who wrote his prescription, evaluated him and wrote his prescription, didn't then say, well, it would be a conflict of interest for me to provide the lenses and the frames. Pretty sure the same guy did both of them. So that's how ludicrous that whole thing is. Finally, it's late in the day, but I saw here that Fagan, Friedman, and Fulfrost has this little thing, and Rita gave you the piece of paper. And it talks about aggressiveness and how you're supposed to preempt and how you're supposed to push people down. And the picture is Fagan and Friedman and Fulfrost, and presumably your hands, shoving somebody's face into the dirt. A lot of you people don't really like me because you think that I'm aggressive. If it's okay for you to be aggressive, if it's okay for Fagan, Friedman, and Fulfrost to advise you to be aggressive, assuming I'm aggressive, why do you have a problem with that? I'm just taking your firm's advice. Now, I don't really think that I am aggressive, but, you know, as James Madison said, no man can judge justly in his own cause. And so I don't suppose I'm the right guy to say whether I'm aggressive or not. Other people can say that. But I don't see how you can complain about it if you think that I am. I don't really think that I am, and this is why. Because if you want to hurt the kid, then I got to do something about it. But if you want to find a way not to hurt the kid, I'm going to find a way to make you happy that you didn't do it. I'm not interested in chasing after you guys. Some people here, you know, they don't like me and everything, but let me put it, think of me then as a bank robber, okay? Bank robbers aren't very nice people, so think of me like a bank robber. Bank robber just wants the money, doesn't want to shoot anyone, just wants the money. What I want is that you take care of the kid, that you don't ruin his life. And if you're willing not to ruin the kid's life, I don't want to do any harm. If you want to ruin the kid's life, then I got to think of ways to try to make you not want to do that anymore. That's what I do. I don't think there's anything unreasonable about that. I know a lot of you guys don't like me, but what I want to suggest is if anybody thinks there's anything wrong with my way of thinking on here, let's have a talk about it. Maybe I can learn something.
Okay. Thank you. Next is Ms. Ortega, and there's 3 items for a total of 9 minutes.
Thank you. So I see a lot of new faces. So my name is Martina Ortega. I'm a parent of 2 special needs children. Now they're adults, and been successful in getting them to higher education. But what I do is I do family support for a lot of Spanish-speaking parents. And the reason I do it is because of what I had to go through. All the, all the IEPs, all the things that were policies, but when you ask them for the policies in writings, they never exist. For the physical and verbal abuse that my kids have suffered, that's the reason why I continue to advocate, and I will continue to advocate until I believe until each one of you becomes a single SELPA, and so all the control is to the single districts. So then we could only point the finger at one person instead of multiple people pointing fingers at each other, right? So I'm here to talk about mental illness and for the school districts to stop criminalizing our special needs kids. You know they have mental illness, and you continue to send the police for truancies, for things that they don't even realize that they do. As there's a lot of drugs going on in the high schools, a lot of drugs, and they're given drugs, and our special needs kids take them because this will help you. There's a lot of things going on. I need you to stop this prison to pipeline. I need you to stop bullying parents that are low income. I call it retaliation. You know they're poor, you know they're low income, so let's go ahead and let's retaliate against them because they're asking for help. And this has been going on for years and years, because by the time I get them, they approach me at stores, they approach me wherever I'm at for help, for guidance, because they are at their end wits. They don't know what to do, but they want their kids to be successful. Like all of us here that have children want our children to be successful. So this needs to stop. And yes, I am very busy. I do go to legislators. I do talk to them. As a matter of fact, this is a really bad copy, but AB 428 did not make it through our legislative process. Why? Because yes, I was out there with all the legislators telling them how you litigate against parents. You don't come to the table in good faith to negotiate or to compromise with something that is decent for our kids. You will allow them to fail as long as you don't have to pay out anything or provide specialized services for them. So yes, it's not, and I keep reminding them, if it was for direct services for students, I'm all for it. I'll be the first one in line advocating for that. But because I know you litigate, and I know administration gets this big raise all the time, so that therefore I will never support this. You know, you have your due process person, of course, litigating because he wants to keep his job. So I could go on, but I'm gonna stop now because you could tell that I am upset that what you're doing to our children is criminal. It is, and I will go ahead and, again, be speaking out against you criminalizing mental illness with our special needs kids. Discussion item E, mental health funding model. Dr. Holton, let's go ahead and train our personnel to identify this because it's been going on for years and they're not getting the help they need. Discussion item still G, joint risk fund. Why? You know, why are we setting up all these funds for risk joint things? Because you don't want to be a liaison, Weselpa, you don't want to be a liaison and go ahead and you know, come together, compromise. No, all you want to do is litigate. You're litigating over $1,000 assessment that could have been taken care of, but now it's costing us taxpayers over $100,000. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Thank you. Okay. Our next speaker is Lou. And same, multiple items for a total of 9 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Rita Luth. I'm a parent in the Upland Unified School District. I've been dealing with special education for many, many years since my middle daughter was in preschool, and she is now 22. And I'm still dealing with the litigation in my district, even though my daughter was vindicated by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and my district gave her 0 services for 7 years, and ultimately the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in our favor. We're still dealing with the same issue for a different school year. So I'll start with the administrator's report and following up on what Martina said, AB 428 Medina. We opposed that bill. The community opposed more funding for quote-unquote special education. Why did we oppose it? Because this would have given the SELPA another $1.5 billion with a B increase over a 5-year period. And SELPA is the bully in special education, at least in the West End. I'm sure maybe there's other SELPAs that are doing a better job, because I can't imagine anybody doing a worse job than the West End SELPA. But they are the bully. So why would we want to give them tax dollars with no accountability whatsoever when we see the hypocrisy of how Susan is going to legislators saying how much she loves these kids, how she wants to give them services. Give us more money, legislators. The hand is out. Give us more money because we want to provide a FAPE. These kids are quote unquote high cost. These kids are encroaching on our general fund. Please give us more money because education is such high cost. And then at the IEP meeting, the parents that are asking for help are being denied any services. Like Martina mentioned, over $1,000 vision therapy assessment. It's been turned by FFF into a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That's where our tax dollars are going. And as long as that's happening, we will not support more funding for the SELPAs. And by the way, AB 428, that's the 3rd iteration. SELPA hired lobbyists, lawyers, they had a coalition of 50 school districts. The California School Boards Association was behind it. Sounded like a great idea. It used to be AB 312 O'Donnell, which we also killed, and AB 3136 O'Donnell, which we also killed. Then O'Donnell got kind of tired of his bills being killed, so he passed it on to Medina, different legislator, AB 428, different number. It also got killed. And it's given us a great opportunity to engage our legislators into the conversation of what is going on in the trenches with us parents. I see the local plan template that Susan mentioned, and it talks about the governance there seems to be, like Martina said, a lot of finger pointing as to who's in charge.